Here we go. Brand new Flyers Daily for the 3rd of November, 2023. Flyers Daily presented, as always, by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. And also Flyers teaming up with Penn Medicine for the Penn Medicine Assist. For every Flyers assist this season, the Flyers and Penn Medicine will be donating 30 pounds of food to local communities in need. Couple of roster changes and roster moves, rather, from general manager Danny Briere. This was announced yesterday. The Flyers have loaned Victor Mete, defenseman, back to the Lehigh Valley Phantoms of the American Hockey League. Didn't play any games with the Flyers while he was called up, but the Flyers have recalled goaltender Cal Petersen, who was yet to play a regular season game for the Flyers. Obviously, Cal Petersen being recalled as a reaction to the fact that Carter Hart left that game the other night with a, as they called it, mid-body injury. We'll see what his timetable is. We have to receive more information on that, but the fact that they recalled Cal Petersen does kind of indicate that he is probably going on the trip. Cal Petersen is. Why didn't they recall Felix Sandstrom? Well, Felix Sandstrom was just assigned to the Lehigh Valley Phantoms for a conditioning assignment. So he doesn't have to go through waivers when you do that. So they're going to get the goaltender that's played some games this season and let Felix Sandstrom get some starts with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms and use that conditioning assignment to its fullest. Don't, in essence, waste it. Here's what Cal Petersen has done so far this season. He's appeared in 4 games for Lehigh Valley. He's got a .376 goals against average and an .884 save percentage. They're not great numbers. He hasn't gotten off to a great start. Obviously, anything over 3 is certainly not a desired area for a goaltender when it comes to goals against average, and anything under 9 is you want to be above for goaltenders when it comes to save percentage. But this is the situation. He's played in 4 games. Felix Sandstrom has not. Sam Ersson, who hasn't gotten off to the greatest statistical start to the season either, hasn't really found a rhythm with his game. It's going to be incumbent upon those two, if Carter Hart is out for any extended period of time, to be able to give the Flyers quality goaltending. Now, the thing with this Flyers team is, as I've talked about in yesterday's episode, they'll be back against the Sabres tonight, which we'll talk about more in a minute. But this is a very pivotal part of the schedule. When you look at where they are in the standings right now, the standings, to me, are not indicative of the way the team has played. But ultimately, you are in sports, which your record says you are. They've played 10 games. They have won 4. They've lost 5, and they have an overtime loss. That was in Dallas. They've got 9 points. They're tied with the Caps. The Caps have played 2 less games, and the Flyers have now lost 3 straight, and they won 1 game where they scored more goals than their opponent 1 time in their last 6. That's when they beat Minnesota 6-2 after that mini 2-game road trip against Dallas and Vegas. So this is a pivotal part of the schedule. John Tortorella talked about this post-game after the game on Wednesday night against the Sabres, that a big part of his job right now is to keep the team, in essence, believing and sticking to the process. Because, I see a lot of this on social media. We judge sports on results. I get it. That's what matters. But there's some out there saying, well, this Flyers team's no better than it was last year. It's actually worse. I totally disagree with that. I have seen progress with this team. If you're watching the games, your eyes show you that they've progressed from last year to this. The result hasn't, and they've found a way to lose games. And you look at the situational play this season, they've gone into the 3rd period with the lead or tied on a number of occasions and haven't won those games, like the Vegas game where they led 2-1 going into the 3rd period, lost in the final 33 seconds. Like the Carolina game, another good team, went into the 3rd period tied, but you ultimately lost the game 3-2. Then the game the other night against Buffalo, you went into that 3rd period tied at 2. You ended up losing that game 5-2, and you outshot the opponent 40-15. They've been outscored in 3rd period so far, 14-10 this season. And when they've entered 3rd periods after 2 periods of play, either when they're trailing, they're 0-2-1. And when they're tied going into the 3rd, they're 0-2. Now, this is a team. These records are indicative of teams all across the NHL. When they lead after 2, they're 4-1. So it is a league where if you're leading, you're going to be a lot more successful than when you're not. It's hard to come back on teams in the NHL in this current iteration thereof. Flyers in first periods this year have outscored their opponents 15-11. They're even in the second period, 7-7. And then, as I said, in the third periods, that's been where it's really hurt them. They've been outscored 14-10, and obviously they have the one overtime game, and they were outscored in that 1-0. They haven't scored an overtime goal. They've only been in one game. But all said and done, the numbers are better. The team is better. The record is not better, but the team and the process is better. Now, they had a better record last year through their first 12 games, but numbers and the underlying numbers were not good. I saw this tweet yesterday from Charlie O'Connor, who covers the team, and the Flyers are second in the NHL in all situations shot on goal share at 55.69. That's good. That's all situations. They're seventh in the NHL in 5-on-5 expected goal share at 55.91%. And they're first in the NHL in all situations with expected goal share at 58.3. They are driving considerably more offense. And you don't need those stats that I just gave you from Charlie to know that. If you watch it, you see it. Now, goaltending has been good for them, has been solid when Carter Hart has played, but they do lack the pure finisher. Hopefully that's coming with Matvei Michkov and Cutter Gauthier. Hopefully Tyson Foerster can find the scoring touch, and others. Travis Konechny has been good so far to start this season, but they're having an inability to score in the third period right now when they really need a goal. They've gotten great opportunities, high danger chances. Freddie Anderson, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in the Sabre game. They were able to keep them off the board and then find a way to score on the Flyers and cost them the ability in a simplified win the period, win the game situation. So the numbers and the team is better. It has progressed forward. Is it good enough? No, not suggesting that. Is it better? And has it moved a step forward? Absolutely it has. And look, it's weird because hockey's a weird sport. You can outshoot a team 40-15 and lose 5-2. Hockey's a weird sport. You can be a better team and have a worse record over a sample size of games, whether that's 5 games, 10 games, 12 games, whatever it might be. Sometimes it's weird. I remember a few years back, Flyers were mired in an extended losing streak. And I think the GM was Ron Hextall at the time, and he said, I think the team is playing pretty good. And when he said that, I think they lost their 9th game in a row. And people went bananas. They're playing good. You've lost 9 in a row, blah, blah, blah. They actually were playing good at the end there, and you could tell they were going to end the losing streak at any moment, because then they did. And then they went on, and I think they won 7 straight after that. So the process was good, but the process in hockey doesn't always equal the result in hockey. But that's the big task of John Tortorella now, is keep the team on the process of how they're playing right now. Find some more timely scoring in third periods, bear down, bury some goals, absolutely. But structurally, and the pace at which they're playing in transition, the way they're exiting their zone, all of those things, keep those things moving in that direction that they are right now. And things will change. That's how, if they keep doing that, then the success will come. I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff team, but that's the key, is doing that for players. Players have that one mentality. Did we win? Did we lose? Did we score more than we gave up? Real simple. And to keep the faith, keep the belief, and keep doing what you're doing, eventually you got to get results, or the players stop doing what they're doing. Now, they know in a short sample size, hey, we're playing well, we deserved a better fate. But if that drags on and on and on, then it's different. And then the other part of this is, how does this team react if they're not going to get the same level of consistent goaltending behind them that they've gotten with Carter Hart? Is Sam Ersson and Cal Petersen going to be able to give them that freedom in their mind to be creative offensively, not be afraid in transition to push the pace and make a play, because you've got a guy back there that if it doesn't go right and it goes the other way, that he can bail you out. He can keep the puck out of your net. Playing the game with handcuffs on your brain, afraid to make a mistake, is not a successful way to succeed. It's just not a way to have, be able to push the pace and be able to take the risk you need to take, the risk-reward equation to win hockey games. And if every time you turn it over, you're pulling it out of your net, then that starts to have an effect. It's like the environment for a goaltender. If he gets beat on the back door because that guy's not covered 3 times in a game, and then on the 4th one, he cheats to try and cover it because it hasn't been covered before, he gets beat short side, that's understandable. That's the cumulative effect of environment. Well, that can also be the cumulative effect on not getting saves whenever a puck is turned over or you want to make a creative play. You have to be free of mind to be able to do that. So what's the trickle-down effect of all of this? We'll see. The coaching staff going to try and keep the guys playing with the same structure, same system, the same urgency in transition, same structure in the D zone, same attacking and decisiveness in the neutral zone, and the same forecheck. But the results got to come. And they're coming up on a very tough part of the schedule. Talked about this in yesterday's episode. This is not an easy month of November for the Flyers. It's just not. You look at this game, okay, they're back in Buffalo tonight to wrap up the home and home. Los Angeles, the Kings, on Saturday at Wells Fargo Center. Then they're going to fly out Sunday for a road trip. They're going to see San Jose. San Jose stinks. All right, San Jose is no good. So that's a game you got to win on the road. San Jose, by the way, in 9 games is 0-8-1. They've got 1 point on the season. So that game aside, after that, you go to Anaheim. Anaheim's off to a good start. They're 6-4. They beat the Flyers already 7-4. They had a good road trip. They were 4-2 on the road, 2-2 at home. But even Anaheim, I'll say that's not even a high-quality opponent yet. After the Anaheim game, you go to Los Angeles, take on the Kings. I think they're a playoff team. Then you come back east, take on Carolina on the road. Then you come back home, you take on the Vegas Golden Knights, who, by the way, in 10 games are 9-0-1. Then you get Columbus, who the Flyers beat on opening night. So a little bit of revenge here for Columbus. They're not off to a great start. 3-4-2. I think they're a decent team, but we'll see. Then after that, you get the New York Islanders sitting in the 4th spot in the Metropolitan Division. You get the Rangers, who sit in the top spot of the Metropolitan Division. Then you get the Islanders again. Then you get Carolina, who's in the 2nd spot. And then you get New Jersey, who's sitting in the 3rd spot. And I think all of those teams, New Jersey, Carolina, the Rangers, obviously Vegas, are all playoff teams. Columbus might be. We'll see. And the Islanders might be. We'll see. It's a tough schedule in the month of November. And now you might have to do a lot of it without your rock goaltender back there in Carter Hart. How does that affect what happens in front of the goaltender? Can the coaching staff, as John Tortorella, the biggest part of his job right now is to keep the guys playing the same way, despite the fact that they haven't gotten the results? This is a really, really big stretch of games. And look, it'll be dropping the puck tonight in Buffalo against the Sabres, back-to-back this weekend. If Carter Hart can't go this weekend, which it looks like he can't, you're going to get Ersson in one of these games and Cal Petersen in another. Ersson has given up a lot of goals already this season. Cal Petersen has not had great numbers with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms in the 4 games he's played. So where's this going? This is a big spot in the schedule. We'll break down Flyers Sabres tomorrow. We'll preview Flyers Kings tomorrow. So join us then. Everybody enjoy your Friday. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a brand new Flyers Daily.